morning, everyone. As Emer said, I am Colette Kidd. I use the pronouns she and her, and I am Chief People Officer at Kainos. And what a fabulous event this is. I'd like to thank Women in Business for inviting me along to speak today. I have to say, I feel it is a real privilege to be here in front of such a fantastic audience. And what wonderful speakers we've had this morning so far. And I know it's going to be a really, really super day. So thank you, Women in Business. I guess what I'm going to talk about today is my journey. I'm going to tell you some of the learnings that I have gained going from engineer to CPO. So I'm not going to give you lots of business insight. I'm not going to give you lots of business messages. There are hundreds of books and podcasts that you can listen to help you with those. But this is more about my journey and a little bit about what we do at Kainos and how I fit into the overall organisation. So, who are Kainos and what do we do? Well, actually, we're a Northern Ireland-based technology company, headquartered here in Belfast. And when I joined 27 years ago, I know I don't look that old, I wish. But when I joined, we had about 100 people all based in Belfast. Today, we have over 3,000 people in 22 different countries. And after 13 years of consecutive growth within the company, we're delivering about £375 million worth of revenue on an annual basis. We are a public limited company, and I'm proud to say most of our shareholders are actually staff, because we have gifted staff with shares in the company on an annual basis to help them share in our success. But we're also listed on the FTSE 250 on the London Stock Exchange. So I'm really proud about where we've came from, that we are a Northern Ireland-based company, going global and actually making a real impact in people's lives. And it's been fantastic to be part of that journey. And to give you, some indication as to what we do. So has anyone applied for a UK passport recently? Well, the software that you have used is actually software that we've created in Kainos, because we create complex digital solutions to enable our customers to work faster, to work smarter, and to provide better services to our people. And I was never as glad of work that Kainos did when I decided to go off on a last-minute break to Lanzarote last year and realised my passport was out of date. And there was a bit of a sweat going on, I have to admit, whether I would get the passport in time. But thanks to Kainos, we had actually reduced that from a 6 weeks application process to 6 days. Another is Allied Irish Bank. Our solutions helped reduce the time to apply for an application from 10 days to 1 minute, which is pretty phenomenal. And the area that I am most proud of is the work we've been doing with the NHS. And through the systems that we have provided, we've managed to, so far, provide £9 million of savings for the NHS. That's taxpayers' money that we can put straight back in to providing better healthcare services for our people. And I was particularly proud of the team, some who are in this room today, who worked on the COVID initiatives and the NHS app and our track and trace app that helped save lives. So, we do some pretty cool stuff, I have to say. So where do I fit into all of this? Well, actually, at Kainos, we have 3 big ambitions. And our first ambition is to be a great employer. Because we really believe that if people experience joy at work, they will be healthier, they will be happier, they will be more innovative. And that in turn will create happy customers, which in turn will generate more work, which in turn will help us grow as a company, allowing us to reinvest some of that money back into the things that matter to our people and to our customers. Things such as AI. We heard from the panel this morning how important AI is as we go forward into the future. Things such as corporate social responsibility, things such as well-being, learning and development for our people. So I guess my role in all of this is I define and set our people agenda. So what does that mean? I'm actually defining the experience for what our employees and candidates do as part of coming into Kainos or working for Kainos. I work not just as the CPO, but I'm part of our executive management team, which I have to admit is mostly male, which infuriates me, but we are working to resolve that. We also, as part of my role, I lead the people function, and that function includes specialists from talent acquisition, from wellbeing, from D&I, from reward, HR professionals. And I also actually work really, really closely. I act as a trusted advisor. Actually, no, I don't act. I am a trusted advisor to our CEO and our C-suite executives, helping them to make sure that we are living our values and our behaviours as an organisation. But I guess, where did this all start? How did I start a journey as an engineer and move to CPO? Well, actually, it started here. And if my family knew their pictures were up on these, they would absolutely have my life. So if you know any of them, make sure you tell them that you saw them up on screen. But I came from a very happy, loving family. My father, on the middle there, was a construction worker, and he spent many years. I'm very proud to drive around Belfast and see some of the buildings that him and his organisation built. My mother stayed at home and looked after the five of us, myself and my four sisters, and I was the youngest in the family. I don't know whether they were just tired by the time it came to me or whether the rest had been trailblazers, but I seemed to get an easy ride compared to the others, I have to say, being the youngest. But I guess I had 6 parents also, which was the downside. I was never an A-star student at school. I wasn't one of these people who was getting it easy and hitting the top grades. I had to graft for my grades, and at best I probably was a B-star student, a B student. But I worked really, really hard at school to get my grades. And actually, it wasn't until I got my offer from Ulster University in to study software engineering that I thought, maybe I can do this. Maybe if I apply myself, I can do this. And actually, I have to be honest as well, computers was not my first choice. I wanted to follow in my father's footsteps and build something. And when I look back now, I have achieved that. I have been able to build something in Kainos. But I remember speaking to my father, and this is my first lesson learned: always ask for advice from other people. They will give you a different perspective. They will give you maybe ideas that you haven't thought of. You don't have to listen and take that advice, but do ask for it. But I guess I spoke to my father and said, I want to go into construction. He goes, no. Now, living in a house with this amount of women, the man very rarely spoke. So actually, when he did speak, you listened. And he wasn't a man, and he isn't a man to mince his words. And he said, there's no money in building, do computers. They're the up-and-coming thing, go study computers. So off I toddled and started looking at prospectuses. And one of the prospectuses I opened talked about programming life support machine. And I thought, how cool is that? You're saving lives. And actually, that was the nugget that pulled me towards software engineering. So I applied, got in, and I started my journey at university. I had 2 ambitions at university. One was to leave university with a degree. Didn't have to be a first class honours, and it certainly wasn't. It didn't have to be a 2-1, and it wasn't. But to leave with a degree, which I did. My second ambition was to leave debt-free. And while I was at university, I worked part-time in a local bar and restaurant, from washing dishes to actually ending up managing it when the owner actually went on holidays. And little did I know that would give me skills that would be really, really useful for me and would actually change my life. I learned customer management skills. I learned a little bit about business. And it was also the place where I met my husband, so it's a lot to answer for. But off I've toddled to university, and on the first day I met the course director, and he said to me, bit of news for you, you're the only girl on the course. And I went, right, okay. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I should maybe think about something else. I thought, no, if I'm going to go into this industry, and this is 30 years ago, so it was a really male-dominated industry. And I thought, if I'm going to go in, and this is a great introduction, because I'm just coming from a school of 1,000 women, an all-girls school, to a class with 20 men. And actually, I took that leap of faith. So that's my second lesson. Take the leap of faith, trust in yourself, and see what you can learn from the opportunity. And I got my degree. I was happy to get my degree. As I said, it wasn't the top first class honours. But actually, I'd also achieved my two ambitions, which was to leave debt-free as well. I then started looking for a job, and at that time it was pretty difficult to find a job, actually. And I really wanted to get into Kainos. And the reason why is because I had learnt at university that I was not the best engineer in the room. And I wanted to get training, and I wanted to be supported so that I could actually help improve my skills. And Kainos offered an 8-week training programme, and I spent hours submitting my application, asking for help from my 4 older sisters. How do I get this job? And I actually got accepted. And I joined in 1997 as a graduate software engineer. When I joined Kainos, I really realised I wasn't the best engineer in the room, because there were so many exceptionally talented people. And I actually thought to myself, is this really the role for me? But I put my head down and learnt my craft. And I programmed in a language called GTX, which was far from cutting edge, let's face it. But actually it taught me really good programming principles. And I worked in tech for about 6 years. And I started during that time interfacing more with the customer and really enjoyed working with the customer. So I transferred to a role as a business analyst. And I remember thinking, can I do this? You know, I saw all these business analysts, they were brilliant. And here I was, wee engineer, pretty crap engineer to be honest, moving into a BA role. But actually, I rolled up my sleeves, I learnt my craft, and I really got to enjoy it. I learnt different skills from developing relationships, stakeholder management, giving the customer difficult messages, all of those things. And actually, that would be my third lesson. If you try different things, you will learn different skills. So try to broaden what you do, not just a vertical. Then my team lead was going off maternity leave. She said, Colette, I'd love you to run the team while I'm off. I'm like, whoa, ho, 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 don't think so. I know nothing about leading a team. I know nothing about people management. But she talked me into it, and I actually found out I really, really enjoyed it. It hasn't all been happy through my path. There are times that I have felt really overwhelmed. There's times that I have felt a hostage to an imposter syndrome. There's times where I have just completely doubted myself. Are there people in this room, and let me show your hands if you feel like that at times in work, where you're feeling overwhelmed, self-doubt, lack of confidence, don't believe you can do it? Yeah. And you know what? The thing is, the secret of it all is accepting that it's natural. Everyone feels that, men and women, at times in their career. But anyway, a new challenge came along. I moved into project management. I started to learn the commercials of the business. I started to learn the importance of quality deliveries. And it was actually when I was in this role that I would say probably the biggest change in my career happened. My manager at the time said, we have a group staffing role coming up, Colette. It may be known as resource managers in other organisations. Well, why don't you apply for it? Well, I'm not going to be able to do this job. Again, self-doubt, that little monster on my shoulder, I crept in. But I thought, why not put myself forward? Let's give it a go. Which is another lesson that I'd like you to take away. Put yourself forward. Take that leap of faith. You never know where it will end up or where it will take you. So I joined as group staffing manager. And I walked into the busiest role I've done in my entire career. We had 220 people in the organisation at the time, and my role was to assign them all to different projects and different teams. I soon found out that actually wasn't the role. The role was about trying to identify the next talent within the organisation and giving them the opportunity to step up and take on new roles. And I actually nearly fell off my chair and my heart sank when our CEO stood up on stage and said, "We're going to grow the company to 350 people. And I was like, how am I going to do this job with 350 people to look after? But take it back to basics. What can I improve? What can I streamline? What processes do I need to put in? What help do I need to do the job? And I remember him saying to me, "Colette, why don't you go on this course? This is a really good, there's a workshop seminar thing coming up. Why don't you go on it?" I went on it years ago and I found it really good. So off I popped. And I'm really ashamed to be showing this. This is about 8 years old. And you'll see that I am not a great artist. But at that workshop, we come up with this. This was the first time I ever sat down and planned what I wanted to achieve. Now, this is about 16 years into my career, and what I wanted to do. You'll see up on the left-hand side, this is called the Super North Star. And what you basically say, what do you want to achieve? And this was my 5-year plan, what I wanted to achieve over the 5 years. The south side of the star is to remind you that you need to be a strategic thinker to actually achieve your plan. On the right-hand side of the star, the east point, were the things that I would not compromise for myself as part of my journey. And they were to continue to care for people the way I had, be honest, and also be determined to succeed. On the west side of the star are the things that I needed to build and the traits and strengths that I needed to have to achieve that, which were resilience, control, and keeping that determination. So as you can see, my path to that North Star involved lots of different things. The smiley faces represent the people in my life, my family, who I wanted to keep happy as I went through my journey. On the left-hand side are the things I wanted to achieve in work. I wanted to achieve that employee experience for Kainos. I wanted to set up the academy and help people learn and develop in work. I wanted to help grow the business globally. On the right-hand side are the things that I wanted for myself. A great team down there in the first heart. The red heart is that keeping my friends and family close. There's a bicycle in there that was to represent how I was going to get fit. Obviously, that one's still work in progress, and the text in the boxes are the things, the skills I wanted to develop. I wanted to get to the Kainos executive table, and that's what the little table with me sitting at it, looking lovely, represents. And then eventually I wanted to be able to go out and give back to my community by sitting on external boards as an ed, and which I achieved last year when I joined boards of governors for schools. So I came back full of passion, full of enthusiasm, and actually what I learnt in that was I needed to make my voice heard, which is another lesson I'd love you to take away today. Because I came straight back and said to our CEO, "Brendan, we need to do something about recruitment." And he said, "Okay, come back to me with your plan." I was like, no, it wasn't supposed to be me that was doing it. It was supposed to be someone else. But actually, when I look back now, we were hiring one person a week. We needed to be hiring 2 to 3 people a week to achieve our business goal of growth. So I went about setting up our recruitment team, and some of them are here today. I know they are. And actually, we in the first year we had 150 hires, which was amazing, with 2 people. Today we've over 30 people working in recruitment, actually doing over 700 hires a year. Following that, I went back to Britain, said there's a problem here, we're not developing our people fast enough. Again, that's where my inspiration for the Kainos Academy came about, and I set about setting up our L&D programme. Then Brendan asked me to join the executive team as head of talent development. And I worked very closely with the executive team to come up with our talent strategy at that time. But there was one thing that was suffering, and that was my work-life balance and my inability to say no. Yes, certainly I'll do that. Real people pleaser. Oh yes, I'll do that for you. Not a problem. But then life took over. And in June 2018, I got the call that any person or any parent would dread, to tell me that my daughter had been taken into hospital. And it turned out she had a terminal illness and I needed to walk away from the business. And it's times like that when you realise exactly how good a company you work for. And for 7 months, my husband and I took time out of work to spend those precious times with our daughter. And as I sat by her bed one morning, I got another phone call, and it was from my father-in-law to tell me that my husband had had an accident at home, tripped at the front door and had a serious brain injury and was going in to have brain surgery that evening. My world shattered. Did I care about career? Absolutely not. I thought, why have I worked all these hours when I needed to be with these people? Thankfully, my husband recuperated and we were both by her side when we lost Rhea at 16 years of age. I came back from work a totally different person. My perspective had changed. I had learned from my personal journey the resilience and inner strength that I have as a person. I got through those tough times, and they're still tough. Life has changed and will never be the same again. But what I would say is, don't take a crisis to make you change. Always make time for the people that you love in your life, because you never know where life is going to take you. So I came back to work, and I have to say, Brendan asked me to take on the people agenda. And I remember coming back in and I was asked to do kick-off. Thought, how can I get up on stage in front of all of these people and blah, blah, blah. I got up and I did it. And actually it was because of the energy I got from the people in the room that made me remember why I wanted to achieve this journey in life. And it was about creating the environment for other people to flourish. And actually, it was the best thing I ever did, was putting myself back into the forefront. But I had learned that I wasn't going to say yes to everyone anymore. I was going to pick what I got involved in. I was going to make sure the impact, and my whole work-life balance has completely changed from that time. Today, I spend most of my time actually engaging with our people. So this is me. I was out in Gdansk there about 3 months ago, and I was engaging with our new graduates and earn-as-you-learners and placement students, and actually listening to what others have got to say, because they're the new generation coming through with new perspectives, new ideas. I'm getting to the end of my career, and actually it is so refreshing to be able to listen and hear their new views and their new expectations of what it is like coming and starting a career in tech. So that's another learning that I would like to share with you, is to listen. You don't always, as a leader, have to have the answers, but you have to be able to listen to make the decisions, the right decisions. So always be prepared to listen and take others' opinions on board. So to summarise today, I thought, what are the few things that I could actually give you as tips or advice? And I guess I've learned a lot, and my learning still hasn't stopped. It will continue. I've even learned stuff today about AI, which petrifies me. But I have to say, 3 things that I thought I would leave you with today. The first one is, grab every opportunity. Don't let fear stop you, because you know what? You can ask for help. You can find out through internet. You can do desktop research. You can even use ChatGPT here. So absolutely grab every opportunity that is presented to you. Make your voice heard. I had to go in with pointy elbows to actually say that our recruitment wasn't going to help us with our business goals. You know, actually, if you see a problem, speak about it and help create a solution. And finally, believe in yourself, because actually you're the only person who knows what you're capable of. And listen to the feedback others give you, so that will help you understand what are your strengths and play to those. So look, thank you so much for listening to my story today. I guess we all have a story. I wonder what yours is going to be as you progress with your career. So thank you very much for your time today.